Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome back to my channel. So, for those of you who don't know, Heartstopper is a series that I have loved ever since I started reading it last year. And so, the third season of the Netflix show is coming out on October the 3rd, so I thought it'd be really nice if I read every Alice Oseman book before it comes out. For context, the date is the 23rd of September, so I have about 10 days or so to get this challenge done. I am going to try and go sort of storyline order, so Heartstopper, partway through I think I'll read Solitaire, and then the novellas, and then all of the other Alice Oseman books, because I feel like I needed an excuse to reread Radio Silence, I won't lie. But with that being said, I'm going to start off with the first volume of the graphic novel. This will probably take me like an hour or two, because it's a graphic novel, you'll get through them quick. So let's get started. What should I do for the content? I don't know. Maybe... Ow, that actually hit my ear. Okay, so I have actually just started, and I've realised, I think these were redone for publication, because Heartstopper started out as a webcomic, but even then, like, the difference in art style from the start of the books to the end of the books, they have changed so drastically. I think it was redone, what, 2018. This edition published in 2019. Yeah. So, yeah, the art style over the years has really changed. And I've been really liking seeing Alice's progression as an artist again. What a legend. A legend to the scene. And the fact that everything started with Solitaire. It didn't start with this. It started out with Solitaire. Her forward thinking in terms of her books is just astounding. I sometimes I forget how much I appreciate her as a creative, and maybe it's just because she's the only author in which I have read all of her work, apart from some of the interactive online stuff. She's someone I really respect and appreciate. I can say all of this because I know that she will never see this. And I need to remind you guys, this is actually a reread. So the first few Heartstopper books, I'm going to get through them really quick. Because, I mean, the first two, I've read them twice already. Plus, I've seen the series multiple times. So I know what happens off the back of my hand. And the funny thing is, this is only in the first few pages. So... yeah, but I'm just thinking about this. I am halfway through the first graphic novel, and what I've realised is I feel like I kind of prefer the structure of the graphic novels more than the show. In the book, it feels like Charlie opens up a whole lot earlier than in the series, and I think it means that the books have less tension. It feels like there's not as much sort of holding back, at least in the earlier graphic novels. But it means that to some people find it more boring. I just find it kind of cozy, and I do like a little bit of coziness. So yeah, it's not as high drama. Well, the series isn't even high drama, but I know that in the series coming up, season 3, it's going to be a bit more messy, and I don't really know how I feel about that. Coming from someone who, you know, I started it with reading the books, so it's just something I've sort of picked up on. It feels like Charlie opens up earlier more to Nick earlier on, or at least it's more sort of in detail, sort of talking about the I don't want to say relationship, but situation with Ben. It feels like it's talked about in sort of more detail earlier on. Hopefully by the next time I'm back, this one is finished. And also, anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping and actually finish this bloody thing. And that is actually the first volume finished. Yeah, like I was mentioning, I do kind of prefer the way that it just feels more open. I know there's very little changes from the book to the series, at least in the sort of, at least from this book. But I don't know, I think I'm one of those people where I think the book is better than the series. Especially when it comes to the way that events are portrayed in the graphic novels. So that is volume 1 done. Now to move on to volume 2. Includes Tara Darcy's story. Yippee! This is where they actually get together. So the second half of season 1, essentially. So yeah. Book 2. I'm like a chunk into volume 2. And I just realised they're making it Nick and Charlie are kissing in the conservatory, and I forgot how much of a cock block Oliver, Charlie's younger brother, is. In the series, Oliver is Charlie's cousin, which makes me sad, but whatever. But Oliver Spring, absolute icon. Your fave could never. So again, I'm partway through volume 2, and this is where my favourite character out of all of Alice Oseman's books has popped out to see us. My beloved Aled Last. I love him so much. I can't wait to reread Radio Silence, because that had like a profound impact on me, and it has ruined me for a lot of books. Anyway, I will continue with volume 2, and that is volume 2 done. So I think I'm only going to be able to read volume 3 before I go to bed, but I kind of planned it really well, actually. So I can just do you see, looking back at the timeline, so after where volume 4 is, gets a bit complicated with the timing of the other books. So partway through volume 4 is where This Winter and Solitaire takes place. So it makes things a little bit more complicated in this reread. If I'm wanting to do it in sort of universe order, makes it slightly more complicated. So I don't know how I'll deal with it. I think I'll make a decision tomorrow, I think. I'm gonna go have a bath, because it is 11 o'clock, and then I will go through all of this. Now, I know... Does it have what iconic bit does it have? Does it have the iconic bit? The iconic little thing from Aled, where it's just like, yeah, it feels like if you're not straight, you feel like you have to come out and tell everyone. Where even is that? Okay, I can't remember where that scene is. Surely it's in this. Yeah, because it's in season 2. Which is basically season 2 is this book, essentially. So yeah, on to volume 3. After I have a bath and get clean. It is 1:30 in the morning, but I feel like I'm gonna read most of this tonight. if not all of it. This is where things start to get a little bit sad, so I'll see what happens. It'll probably be like 2:30 by the time I finish. Oh well. But yeah, coming up to the end of the first day. Okay, so surprise, I've not finished. Here's an early update. I've realised that the order of events for Volume 3, which is Season 2, I think I actually prefer the order of events in the show as opposed to the book. Because in the show, Charlie doesn't really do the whole tell-all thing until right at the very end. And in the books, that's before the Paris trip. And I think that really it worked better in the show, especially given what happens during the Paris trip. By the way, got my retainer in, that's why I'm a bit lispy. Yeah, it's one of those times where I think the show was slightly, it handled things a bit better, and sort of that kind of tension, because it feels like in the book, that sort of comes a bit out of nowhere, personally. But again, the fact that the books have my favourite character in any piece of media, the fact that my beloved Alice is in it, I think more than makes up for it. But anyway, I'm going to continue on reading. Hopefully not another update midway, otherwise I think I'll cry. Yeah. Okay, I lied. Here's another update. I have only read a couple of more pages, but I've just remembered my favourite scene in the entire book series. Ali talking about, you know, when you're not straight, there's always like this pressure of coming out. Like, you have to be out to people. And it is okay to do it on your own terms. That is essentially what Alid says, and I just love Alid as a character so fucking much. He is my Pookie. I love him so much. Anyway, hopefully not another update until I've finished, otherwise I think you can definitely call me out. Alright, so it has just gone 3 AM and I've just finished Heartstopper Volume 3. Wow, there's a lot of threes. Again, I'm just really loving Heartstopper. It feels like I'm back home. Now obviously things start to get darker in Volume 4, as well as This Winter and Solitaire. I'm still wondering what order I should do them in, because it's a big dilemma really, because of the way that it's structured, because the events of This Winter and Solitaire are sort of in the midst of it, so maybe tomorrow I start off with, I think I'll figure it out tomorrow. Also, my skin looks oily, it's just well moisturised. Also, I had a thought whilst I was reading it, reading Volume 3. What if this ends up reaching the cast? Because I know I've definitely seen Toby, the actor for Isaac. He's definitely been active and even gave like the book list that Isaac read during, I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2 of the show. He gave that list of books to a YouTuber and they basically did a reading challenge of all the books. But it'd be interesting if any of the cast do end up seeing this. Probably won't. This will probably get 5 views, but it is what it is. I will see you tomorrow when it's not 3 bloody AM. That was really cringy. What is this? 2010 YouTube? It is day 2. Admittedly, I didn't get up till 1 in the afternoon, and it is now 1:45. because I spent an hour on my phone. This is what I'm like. I'm that much of an insomniac, and my sleep schedule is a disaster. I did spend like half an hour last night on my phone, so yeah, phone addiction is real. But what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna start off with Volume 4, the sad one, and then I'll make a start on Solitaire. I think with the amount of books that I read yesterday, I have a bit of a cushion now to sort of relax a bit. Because I've got 9-10 days to read. Basically 9 or 10 days to read not as many books, which is fine. I can start to really manage this now, I think. Because then it won't matter if I spend 2 days reading one book. Especially with the novellas. So, yeah, I'm going to start out with Volume 4 today. It should take me an hour. And then I'll move on to Solitaire. I know I was meant to try and do it in the order of sort of timeline order, but with Volume 4, Solitaire and This Winter, it all kind of clashes, and that means that I can't really do it. I'd have to read one part of Volume 4, then Solitaire, then a bit more of Volume 4 and This Winter, which I don't think is logical at all. Volume 4, here we go. Also, yes, I am kind of tired. Yeah, insomniac things. I did at least sleep 8 hours though. I just look like a disaster. Yes, I've gotten dressed. And yes, I have finished Volume 4. I forgot how much I loved Volume 4, if I'm being honest. The way that it talks about mental health and eating disorders, which oftentimes can be kind of scary subjects for some people and can be sort of a bit rough talking about. But I love the way that everything in Heartstopper is just so talked about in such a healthy way, in such a positive light. I know that's the standard for what Alice is trying to go for, which makes it always makes it interesting read. I know a lot of people talk about Heartstopper and say that it's cringy because, you know, they're just a bit too camp, or some rubbish that's like slightly homophobic. But it just deals with topics in such a way that it just feels normal and natural and gets through them in such an accessible and sort of friendly way. Now, again, I do think that in some ways the book is better, in some ways the series is better. I prefer the way in which Nick and Charlie's story takes priority in the books. But again, the show has more sort of breadth. You know, it's kind of a breadth versus depth kind of debate. And yeah, so the next book I'm going to read from Alice Oseman, it might take me longer than a day, but it is Solitaire. It is the book that started it all. The book that introduced us to Tory Spring and Nick and Charlie being together. So I'm slightly excited to reread it. Again, not as excited to reread it as I would, you know, Radio Silence. So on to Solitaire. One apple teeth. So bang, Solitaire. The next book. Here's me updating you. I am about a quarter into Solitaire. I thought I'd give a bit of an update. It is now basically 9 PM. I've been reading it on and off. I've been taking a lot of breaks. But I've realised I don't necessarily love Tory Spring as a standalone character, and especially not really as a narrator. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm slightly optimistic, but I feel like, I don't know, it comes off as sort of very typical, I'm not like other girls kind of energy. And I don't really know how nicely I can put it. On the other hand though, great that she's supportive of Charlie. Obviously in the Heartstopper books, she's around a lot more. She's caring in that regard, but it's like Charlie is her one sort of thing she really cares that much about, other than Solitaire, obviously. But yeah, I have a bit of a hard time liking Tori, and I mean Tori as a character is a bit of a mixed bag sometimes for me. On this second read, I'm just not really connected with her in a way that I've liked in previous works. But then again, it might just be because I've kind of lived this pessimistic life. I kind of am still very pessimistic. I'm severely unemployed and can't drive, so I can't be employed. But I'm hoping I can get through maybe another quarter. If I can go further than that, awesome. I have a love-hate relationship with Tori Spring. Hopefully I'll be back before I go to bed. I have just had a really embarrassing realisation. So I was looking again at the Alice Oseman verse timeline, and I realised that this winter takes place before Solitaire. This is a bit embarrassing. That makes sense to me now. Yikes. So what I'm gonna say is, I'm an idiot. I really am an idiot. This is really embarrassing now. I have to... Well, you know what? I'm keeping this all in the same order as recording. I am not faking this. I'm just an idiot. So, yeah, this is gonna be how the video stays. You just get to see my incompetence and inability to read things. Yeah. Because this winter's set literally right before Solitaire. I am an idiot, but oh well. It happens. So yeah. This winter comes before Solitaire. I wish I realised that. But apparently not. Anyway. On to finishing this. Okay, so despite everything, I briefly forgot that Tori is the one that helps Charlie when he relapses. Okay, so I've just realised and read the scene. Okay, I forget that I do actually like Tori. Listen, she is massively complex, and I think... yeah, I just kind of forgot how much she cares, even though she tries to put on a facade that she doesn't. But it, yeah, she, again, love-hate relationship. And I just blanked out. Yeah, again, I should have read this winter before Solitaire, because I got the ordering all wrong. It was so bad. But yeah, I took a break and it is now 2 AM. So what I'm gonna do is basically now read until I fall asleep, which probably won't be very long. And so this is my last update before tomorrow. So I will see you then. My eyes do kind of feel like they're about to pop out, so it literally could be any moment where I just pass out from reading. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Morning. I say it's morning. It's like 1:10. I have got up to, well, I got up to page 265 sort of during the night. I didn't end up reading much at all. Well, I haven't read much this morning, or at all, because I have only really just got up an hour ago, and I was basically barely conscious, so yeah, I was dying. So I am going to get back on with this. I'm gonna go downstairs to do that. Yeah, this is day 3. So I know I'm gonna get this finished, and I'm gonna get this winter read, and then it'll be on to volume 5, the Heartstopper yearbook, and then Nick and Charlie. So yeah, and after that I might be able to make a start on Peak Radio Silence. Alid Last will be coming home. I promise I'm not obsessed, but I'm not obsessed. Trust me, I'm not. I'm normal. Trust me. So yeah. So I have just finished Solitaire, and yeah, I realised I don't love it as much on this second well, this is my first time rereading it. I don't necessarily love it as much this time, and I'm realising my lights are flickering. Yeah, I just found Tori a bit annoying. Yeah, for like most of the book. I still like the message, it's great, but I just, yeah, something about this reread has kind of not made me like it as much. I don't know. But now that that's done, I can move on to what I meant to read before and read this winter. I think this is probably going to be the last thing I read today, because I think I might, you know, have a bit of a breather. You know, I think I've given myself enough of a sort of buffer, so that then tomorrow I'll read Heartstopper Volume 5, the yearbook, and Nick and Charlie to end off the sort of Heartstopper era stuff, or sort of that time frame. Yeah, I do like that. I do somewhat enjoy the novellas, even though they're not, you know, as bright and happy as Heartstopper. I think it might just be, I might just be looking for joy at this point, and I know that Alice's novels just aren't really that, and it's sort of, I think maybe reading it all together might be a bit of a problem. But yeah, I'm gonna read this winter, and then that is gonna be it for today, because I'll still have plenty of time for Radio Silence, Peak, my favourite book. I Was Born for This, and Loveless. Okay, so hi, it's 4 AM. I didn't actually read this winter. I guess that's gonna be a tomorrow thing. I have admittedly spent like the evening just getting totally fucking drunk. So this winter will be read tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna read this winter Volume 5, the graphic novels, and then Nick and Charlie, and then leave Radio Silence until Friday, because I kind of want a full day to just focus on my favourite book. I really, to be honest, when I was reading Solitaire, I wasn't really in the best mental space. So I kind of hope, and well, when I was in that sort of space, I didn't really like reading Solitaire that much, but with Radio Silence, I really just hope that I can enjoy it, and hopefully not see it Gamers, I'm so hungover. Why did I do that last night? I feel like I'm just moments away from like hydro pumping. So I'll be lucky if I end up even reading this winter, to be quite honest, because I am struggling. Then again, it is basically 10 o'clock, and I'm not a morning person. I've never really been a morning person, and I don't think I went to, well, I didn't go to sleep until like 4 AM, so I don't feel human. Yeah, this is the earliest I've woken up in ages, but also we're kind of, yeah, I don't feel too hot, but we power on. Alright, so I have something to admit. I have spent most of today just nursing my hangover, so yeah, I haven't read like a single thing. I've just been really ill, but I have to continue on with the challenge. So it is currently 10:49. I hopefully want to get this read before it turns 12, so that it still counts on my reading streak. You know, I still want to keep that up, even though realistically I could skip a day, but I'm not going to do that. I'm at least going to read one a day. I feel like that's the bare minimum at this point, because I realised I have 7 days, roughly 6 books. 3 of them are Volume 5, Nick and Charlie, and the yearbook. Those will be like an hour each, so I could do them all tomorrow. Then Radio Silence, I Was Born for This, and Loveless, I can just spend a day each on them. So I'm still not too worried. I could take time away, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to continue. So yeah, anyway, reading this, yeah, shouldn't take me that long, maybe hopefully less than an hour. Just finished this winter. Yeah, I liked it more on this reread, honestly. It feels like Alice really, if we're talking like theme wise, it's like Solitaire. It's generally darker than Heartstopper, but this feels like a middle ground. Still tackles the, you know, eating disorder, mental illness. It still deals with that, but it feels like it's in a more real light, which probably doesn't mean much to a lot of people. But this is going to be it for the night. It is like 10 to 12. I need to have something to eat because I'm like dying. But yeah, I really like this time around. So yeah, I'm gonna read that as well as Volume 5 and the yearbook tomorrow. That way I can focus on Radio Silence on Saturday. So yeah, that's it for today, I think. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Alright, welcome to day 5. So, I'm gonna try to read all 3 of these today, and that's gonna be it. Volume 5, yearbook, and then Nick and Charlie. But yeah. Alright, so that is Volume 5 done. Volume 5 done. I don't think I loved it as much as when I first read it. I think it might have been just first read love. But it does sort of focus on some of Nick's insecurities rather than Charlie's. Well, they both have their insecurities, but Nick's is sort of brought up more than Charlie's in this book. Especially given how he's so scared to be alone. But again, in the usual Heartstopper way, they talk about it, they communicate, and they get through it. That is basically Heartstopper in general. They are just gays enduring, and I love them for that. That is basically it for the graphic novels. Obviously, by the time this video is like finished and comes out, the sort of very beginning of the next volume will start being published online. So I will probably have a bit more to read by the end of this challenge, but it won't be by much. So after that, I'm moving on to the Heartstopper yearbook. This will again probably take me like half an hour to get through, because it is just like facts about the characters, like proper, and sort of a bit of the history of the series before it became the massive phenomenon that it is today. So yeah, and then I'm gonna finish off the day with Nick and Charlie after that, and then I will leave Radio Silence for tomorrow. But yeah, I'm back on it after yesterday's illness. I say that like it wasn't self-inflicted, but anyway. Alright, so I've finished the Heartstopper yearbook. Again, took me very little time to read, because it's short, and it like the graphic novels, very short and very sweet. Basically, it's like a behind the scenes of all the comics, and you get character profiles and everything. It's nice to see Alice's progression, because you get to see her art from before Heartstopper the comic was a thing, and her art back then, all the way back, even before Solitaire came out. So yeah, nice to see. Is it obviously much of a storybook? Absolutely not. Although there are a few mini comics that were previously only published online, so now they're in printed form. So I'm gonna move on to Nick and Charlie, and then I think that might be it. I might read a bit of Radio Silence, but who knows. Surprise, you get another angle of my room. So I just finished Nick and Charlie. It's a super sweet short story, obviously about Nick and Charlie, surprise. I still have like a lot of thoughts. Well, I don't really have that many thoughts about it. Surprise, I changed my mind in just a few moments. But there's like a few really nice moments, but other than that, I don't really feel much for it. Also, I know the lighting sucks. I'd say I'd give it like a 3 stars or something, I don't know. I have been sort of looking back at my ratings for each book, and some of them, I mean a lot of them, I feel like I've moved them lower. I think I've kept Volume 4 with 5 stars, but a lot of things have just been moved down, which probably might be the case with this. I don't really have much thoughts in like so as to the way it's portrayed or anything like that, but yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's kind of, but I think this is going to be it for now, for today, because I want to spend all of tomorrow reading Peak, Radio Silence. This is by far my favourite Alice book, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Yeah, so that should be it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. I am now on to day 6, not to be confused with the K-pop group, and I feel like I can't put this off any longer. I need to reread Radio Silence like now, because I've realised that it is day 6. I still have this and I Was Born for This and Loveless to go, so I realise I am most definitely going over a week. thankfully I'd planned it this way, but yeah, means that taking slightly longer than I thought it would. Maybe I could have just not taken as long a break, or actually started radio silence earlier. I think the reason why I've been so worried to start reading this again is because I kind of relate to it a lot as someone who's dealt with creating content for over 10 years, I know, and with doing that I have dealt with a lot of stuff, and I've also had to deal with doing all of that alongside education, because I haven't really been outside for full-time education since I was a kid, so dealing with that, and you know, the other year I very much suffered in university. I've talked about it many times, and Alid, my favourite character, also did that, which is basically a big part of the book. But yeah, I've been sort of slightly worried about rereading it in the event that I don't like it as much, because I've been really sort of changing my opinions on a lot of the books, and I don't want to. I just want to continue to have rose-tinted glasses over radio silence. It's a bit silly, but what can you do? I'm gonna have to read it now, otherwise I just won't. It's day 7 at this point, the second day of reading radio silence. I need to lock in because it is 2 PM and I kind of need to get it read. I do feel bad. Whenever I think about doing these challenges, I think about to what extent does challenging yourself to consume a certain amount of media in a short amount of time, how that affects opinions, and whether that is sort of devaluing the consumption of art. It's just a random thought I had whilst I was in the bath, because I needed a morning bath because I didn't have one last night. But yeah, I need to get on it ASAP. Yeah, I finished radio silence. Did I record anything? Yeah, I finished it, and yeah, I feel like I can't really critique it because I feel like I relate too much to Alid, and it makes it really difficult to be like, well, I hold this book so fucking dear to me, to the point where I think it's hard. It's hard dealing with people telling me it's bad, because I see myself in Alid too much. I'm trying my best not to tear up, because that'd feel a bit weird, crying on camera, but everything still hits just as hard as they did the first time, even a year later, despite me reading so many more books that I've loved. It still hits, and I'm glad. I'm glad it still hits. I just hear, read line after line of Peak, and it feels like I'm being sucker punched every other page, especially towards the end, because I feel called out. I genuinely feel called out half the book, and a lot of the experiences that I kind of talked about are things that I have had, and yeah, it's pretty close to home. I'm so glad this book exists. Yeah, I don't know, I kind of wish I had more good people around me in person. Yeah. So that's finished. Yeah. If there's ever gonna be a film adaptation, I guess a dream would be to be involved in it. Potentially as that YouTuber that talks about university and it going viral. I mean, that'd be fun. It'd never happen because I'm so far. I'm not known enough, and I don't think I ever will get to a point where I get offered and asked things like that. But yeah, and the ending. So I've gone to many creator events. I do like, you know, meeting my fellow creators, even though we are, a lot of us, I mean, I am so kind of far removed from a lot of the game a lot, but all the people I happen to be around manage to be gamers, which I was one, but I never really keep up with much. And it kind of brought me back to that event, Insomnia, which no longer exists. Through that event, it has become like my second home, and I found the greatest people that I don't know if I deserve particularly. And this has just turned into straight yapping now. I need to meet them again soon. I miss them all. I miss the good times. I don't know how much of this clip will end up in the video, but yeah, it'd be nice for me to do a stage show of something. I don't know what I'd do. This has turned into a yap sesh. I'm probably gonna make a start on I Was Born for this. But yeah, when I first read I Was Born for this, it put me into a bit of a slump, so I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen, otherwise this challenge would be a failure. If I can read all of this today, that'd be sick. I just don't think that's humanly possible for me at this point. I don't want to say I'm starting to burn out, but I think after Radio Silence, that's just, yeah. I'm a little bit tender after that. Yeah. Onto I Was Born for this. Hi, welcome to day 8. I'm not hungover. I'm just really fucking exhausted. I'll admit, I was thinking about Alad Last a lot last night. So, yeah, they really live in my head rent-free at this point. And it is a slight problem, because I need to read I Was Born for this, but I can't take it. That, and I've got a massive headache. So, yeah, and I do not feel good today. And bear in mind, this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. It's a bit embarrassing. I don't know whether I'm dehydrated or what, but I know I haven't slept enough, but I'm also very dehydrated, so I just feel like I'm suffering, to be honest. Yeah, but I'll hopefully actually get started with I Was Born for this, because I kind of have to. I don't have the time to fuck around now. Alright, hi, I'm gonna talk about something that's brutally honest of me. I I'm considering DNFing this. I just think, for one, it's not really relevant. Because if we're talking about a reread because Heartstopper Season 3's coming, this doesn't really tie in at all. And quite frankly, I'm in a time and place at the minute where I deal with fandom in sort of a healthy way. And I think I always kind of have. Obviously, I am often drawn towards fandoms that, you know, are very openly queer, and creators that, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm normal in terms of fandom. I'm a big Dan and Phil fan, as you guys know. Went to see Dan in London for the filming of We're All Doomed, and I am literally going to be front row in Birmingham for them, so but I'm gonna be brutal. I don't really like shipping real people. I've just never really had any sort of draw to it, really. Sure, I've definitely read fanfics that have been very deeply traumatizing, and every month we buy a hamster. But I think I've grown, and I just don't connect with I Was Born for This. I never really did the first time round, and I think I'm only around like 10% of the way through, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, gamers. The reason I actually bring up Dan and Phil is because I know Alice herself is a Dan and Phil fan. It kind of works. Yeah, I'm just not... It's just not for me. I've never really liked it, and the funny thing is everyone around me does, so it's like, am I broken? But I don't want to seem like a bit of a prick, but I haven't really tended to like I Was Born for This or Loveless. Maybe it's because of me and my experiences, or lack thereof, but I've never really connected that level, you know, to be quite brutally honest. None of the artists I really care for ever really tour in this country, so I don't really get that experience too much. I mean, sure, there was that one time that I liked JLS, but that doesn't count. I don't connect with it. It's never really clicked for me, and I think forcing myself to reread it isn't exactly gonna make me like it anymore. I'm so far removed from it nowadays, and a lot in fan culture in general. Maybe it's who I am. Maybe it's just... yeah. I don't want to DNF it, but I'm just not loving it. I've never really liked it that much, but I'm just not enjoying it, and I don't know what to do. I'm in a bit of a crisis, because I don't really want to fail this challenge, but if I'm having to challenge myself to read something I don't like, you know, I don't see the point. Plus the fact I've already read it. All of these are rereads. So what is really the point of making myself read something that I don't want to? Because the thing is, I want to like it. I really want to like I Was Born for This. But I just can't. Am I broken? Plus again, I think after reading Radio Silence, that is all my brain is right now. All I can think about is the trio, that sort of group, that found family. Well, would you consider it a found family? I don't know. Yeah. I've been yapping for too long. Right, so I am a lot further in. I'm like 45% of the way in. I'm gonna have to continue reading it, aren't I? I do love pain. I am a completionist in the most masochistic way. So I feel like at this point I have to finish it. Yeah, I just don't, this isn't for me. It's so obvious and so clear. It's not for me. And that's okay. You know, not everything's made for my very specific life experiences and opinions. I feel like I can't quit now. I suppose in another video, or even this video, I could do a ranking. But yeah, that is my experience for now. It is nearly 10 o'clock. I feel like I need to like cleanse myself. So, I haven't changed. I haven't put deodorant on. I absolutely honk. Alright, it's like 3:30 in the morning. I've got page 339. And I'm just about to pass out. I'm going to like it a bit more. Obviously it's not a 5-starer for me. I think I never particularly loved it that much to start with. But I'm warming up slightly. I think I don't feel negative about it, but I just don't love it as much all of a sudden. Damn. Anyway. See you tomorrow morning. Right, it's the 1st of October. Let's crush this. Let's finish off this challenge. Not on a high, because I don't really enjoy I Was Born for This or Loveless that much, to be honest. Again, I feel like coming after Radio Silence, everything just seems mid. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely finish I Was Born for This. I pray I can just read Loveless all today and admittedly be done with this challenge, because I'm kind of ready to move on at this point. I'm ready to get on with my life and read at my own sort of pace now. I'm going to have to up the pace at least today so that I can get this video done and get this out for Heartstopper Season 3. So, let's do that. Enough yapping. Let's do this. Right, yes, I have a hoodie on. It is freezing. I also went outside. I finished I Was Born for This, and yeah, I don't love it. I think that's been an obvious thing throughout this whole thing. I kind of knew I wasn't gonna instantly love it now, but I think I need to be more realistic with my rating for it, because it was not a 4-star book. I think it's more of a 3-star. It just doesn't connect for me. Just something about it. And I don't think it's really a book for me. I think that's been the general trend of how I've been feeling about I Was Born for This. Yeah, it does warm up towards the end, but again, just leading into it, I was like, wasn't really feeling it. I think what I might do is I might finish an ebook that I've been reading sort of in the background and then get going on Loveless, because respectfully I want this challenge to be over. Yeah, that's all really. So yeah, nearly at the end. We're on the final book, and then I'm probably gonna not read anything for like a month, because yeah. Hi, I've read up to about 20% of Loveless, and fun fact, I actually when I first got Loveless, I got the ebook, and then I was in Birmingham doing some impulse buys, and then got the paperback on the same day that I bought the ebook. I think it was the same day. I don't know. But I decided to read a bit of Loveless whilst the bath was running. I like reading in the bath, by the way, when I've got my Corbo. Extremely fuckwithable experience. I mean, what even are words today for me? But yeah, it is basically almost midnight. I'm gonna try and, I said 3/4. If I can get 3/4 away in, I think that'd be good. And then I can move on to the new pages of Heartstopper. I think it's chapter 8, but going to be in the published version will be volume 6, and the final volume. Also, to actually talk about my actual experience reading this, I like it more than I was born for this. I think the characters, to me, are just... they're just more fun to experience. What am I saying? They're just more fun to read about. And yeah, at this point, yeah, I do enjoy it more than I was born for this. Not to spoil a potential Oseman verse ranking, but yeah, there's certainly a book I like the least. I'll just say that. So yeah, I'm gonna read what I can and then finish. I won't finish this tonight, but I will try my best to get as much so that I don't need to read as much tomorrow. And then I can use tomorrow as just a cooling down day, because the new season comes out in 2 days now. So I'm gonna have to get editing this very quick, very soon. I will hopefully see you when I am about to go to bed. Or well, before I'm about to go to sleep. Yeah, as a whole, so far, well, actually no, I'm not gonna say that. I will wait until tomorrow to properly wrap things up. But yeah. I don't know how else to end these segments, so I'm just gonna do random shit. I'm like 38% into the physical book. I've updated my sort of progress on my Corbo, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read in bed with the Corbo light on until I fall asleep now. It's fun, it's fine. I think at this point I'm a bit over it. I think I'm about ready to be happy to be finished and move on to other books. But yeah, I'm gonna continue reading on here. Hopefully, I don't know, I'm not expecting to finish this book tonight at this point anymore. But I'm gonna lay in bed, see what I can read, and then go from there. Right, so during my late night reading session, I managed to get to 52%. You know, I think Loveless has been a bit more fun, to be honest. I was about to say let's do this, but I got reminded of, you know, those Eurovision YouTubers. You know the ones. The ones that are obsessed with Pinterest. You know what I mean. If you know what I mean. And I am pleased to announce I have finished Loveless. I like this a bit more on this reread, actually. Just something about the way that Pip and Rooney and Georgia, their sort of relationship, absolutely hilarious. The way that they just go on. It's kind of iconic, although Pip does kind of carry the entire book, I feel like. And it made me realise I kind of relate in some ways, which I don't love. Don't love that. Stop making me think, Alice. Stop fucking with my head. Obviously not as much as I relate to the book that shall not be named. That is still my favourite. But this read hasn't finished. It still hasn't finished. I still have the new pages of Heartstopper that have just come out yesterday. So I'm gonna read them. And basically I'm going full circle. I'm reading the newest bit of Heartstopper. And then tomorrow, which, yes, this is being recorded on the 2nd of October, then I will watch Season 3, aka Volume 4 and 5, but we don't talk about that. So yeah, I still have more thoughts I need to give on this whole reread, but I'm gonna go and read the final bits of the newest volume of Heartstopper, the new pages that have just come out. Well, that was quick. I didn't exactly expect it to be, that update to be that short. I basically read it in a few moments, so it's a start. What can you really do or say when it's Nick's 18th and they just evolve into sex? Good for them. That's what I'll say, you know. I just read a book about asexuality and they're having sex. That's you can't plan it, really. It's a kind of planning only I would do. And you're welcome. That's a slight spoiler for the new Heartstopper page is. But that concludes my Alice Oseman reread. I think I'll sit down somewhere different to finish off this video. So I have officially finished reading or rereading every Alice Oseman book. Yippee! I knew it was going to be a ride, but I didn't think it'd be this much of a ride. Shout out Rafal. Again. I kind of really went on a journey this past week. Obviously I've laughed a lot, cried a little bit too much about many characters. And I don't think I would have had it any other way. Now, what I love about Alice and her work is that, well, straight people are kind of a minority. And I mean that with about as much love and respect as you can give. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I think it's nice to get rid of heteronormativity for a while. Although I do kind of miss straight people. Maybe I need to read some straight people romance stuff after this. I don't know. But it's just so nice to see queerness in such a nice light. And Alice has always been about this. Even though, you know, she didn't start out really by making directly queer media, other than a side character and a side relationship, which now has turned into such a big thing now. I'm so happy and so glad that she exists, for one, and two, has such a big platform for LGBTQ plus issues. And obviously this is being filmed on the 2nd of October, the day before Heartstopper Season 3 comes out, and I am so excited to dive into how everything that's portrayed in volumes 4 and 5 are portrayed in real life. However they deal with that in the books, it's done so beautifully and so respectfully, and I kind of can't wait. And obviously all the Nick and Charlie media novellas, that sort of stuff, love that. Heartstopper as a whole is such a good thing to just have nowadays. I'm so glad it exists. Now obviously I've talked about it way too much. The one book I am still obsessed with, I still love the characters, Radio Silence. I think everyone everyone knows that I've been yapping about Aled way too much. I know Alice doesn't particularly say that they believe Aled is non-binary, but fuck it. I'm an MB Aled truther. I believe in my heart. It's probably just me projecting, but yeah. Radio Silence I just have always related to and loved deeply. A lot of it hits a bit close to home. The events are a little too similar to my own experiences to not feel anything surrounding it. And then I Was Born for this. I didn't like it as much as the first time I read it, but I think it's a realisation that I'm in a very different time and place and just isn't for me. And that's fine. Not everything is for me, and that is okay. And in fact, I think that's very much necessary for me to not like everything. And then Loveless. Oh, love it. Ironically loving Loveless. Again, some of it, like Radio Silence, a little bit felt a bit close to home. I'm not 100% sure what I feel comfortable talking about hits a little close to home in that sense. But I really like Loveless. Once I got into it, it was fine. I think it is always nice to see found families, and that is sort of a bit of a recurring theme in Alice's books. I didn't really realise that until looking back and reading it all in just over a week. Hi, I didn't think I'd end up adding more to this video, but I feel like I have to. So when I put this into my editing timeline, it turned out I had 2 hours worth of footage, and obviously that's a lot. So a lot of this has been cut down, and some of the things may be not as detailed as I would like, and I feel like I have to apologise. There may be some outtakes put onto my second channel in the near future. I also need to add that obviously I wanted this video to go out before the season came out, but that didn't end up happening. Again, 2 hours worth of footage. I just wasn't able to get that cut down in time. This is being recorded on the 4th of October, and I have just finished the Netflix TV series of Heartstopper, the new season 3. And I feel like I have to reiterate, I am so glad that Alice exists and has as big as a platform as she has even. I wish I had something like Heartstopper when I was younger, and I know that this is a common thought between people who have watched the series, read the novels, and whilst I've been critical and I feel like downright nasty about some of her work during this video, you know, me not loving I Was Born for This, I'm still so glad that her work exists. I'm so glad that she has the platform and reach that she has. Obviously I feel lucky that it might have been a once in a lifetime thing, but I'm so glad. In addition to this, I'm so thankful to the incredible cast of the series. Obviously, there's a lot of production that goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of cast members nowadays, but this season, season 3, has been incredible. I feel like I also need to mention, if Toby Donovan sees this, which again, I feel like he might, of all the cast members, sorry. I know I've been harsh on the replacement of Aled, and, you know, since Aled is a character very dear to me, I feel like I've been a bit nasty about the change to Isaac, but to Toby, if you're watching this, and you might do, I don't know, you have been absolutely stellar in this season. And it was to the point I didn't really miss Aled, really. I think this is also a credit to the writers, but it felt like it finally felt right to me. So yeah, I apologise, because I've been a bit nasty, I've been a bit harsh about the character change. Again, I don't know how much of it's going to end up in the video, because I've also had some issues with editing. I got to today and thought I'd nearly finished, and it turned out half the video ended up disappearing from my timeline. So that's gonna have to end up being fixed tomorrow. But I'm so thankful of your portrayal of Isaac. So nice to see someone on a character on the age spectrum assert themselves to this level and sort of stand up to people being clingy. I really appreciate it. I want to say, because this video will most likely be an hour long or longer, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this. Okay, so I had this random idea of something to say, just as an extra bit on the end. Another one. Yeah, I'm adding another one. To Alice. Mainly Alice, but the rest of the cast in general. Thank you for having the courage to exist. Okay, now I feel cringe. God damn it, I've been adding too much little extra bits here at the end. Fuck. So that is that. I may drop a proper Oseman verse ranking if we get 3 likes. 3 likes. The bar is extremely low given my channel size. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, again, please hit the like button. If you want to see and hear more from me, hit the subscribe button and turn the bell icon to get notified whenever I make another video. And hey, if you disagree with any of my takes on anything, feel free to say that in the comments below. Also, very, very soon, I don't know when, I am going to be launching a Patreon. Again, I'm going to make it accessible, I'm going to make it as affordable as I can. That's all I'm going to say for now. If you're interested in that, let me know. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Orion, signing out.